The thumbnail is not a lie. I am functionally illiterate, but I'm writing a book. And if that wasn't enough, I have a severe chronic illness. In order for me to explain why I'm doing this, I need to go back a decade. Growing up in a family of 14, where everybody's favorite hobby is reading and writing, I took it for granted that it become my favorite thing too. I think the first memory I have of wanting to read is when I saw my sister sounding out words to my mom. I realized in that moment that a whole word could be unlocked just through squiggles on a piece of paper. So later that day, I stole my sister's reader and I locked myself in my room and I tried to read it myself. But I couldn't. And I remember I got so frustrated that my mom found me having a meltdown. She comforted me by saying that the reason I couldn't read is because I haven't learned my letters yet, but one day it would click. But that day never came for me. Spending most of your childhood not knowing why you're different or why you struggle with something that comes so naturally to everybody around you is really isolating. And for a long time I was able to push those, or more like sweep those feelings under the rug because I wasn't forced to face those problems because I was homeschooled. But as I got older, it became more and more apparent that I was running out of time. But then at 14, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. Having a chronic illness and being so isolated and losing all my friends, and at the same time losing two of my siblings, it forced me to face something that I basically avoided my whole life. But there was one problem. I had no idea what was wrong with me. And it wasn't until I was doom scrolling on TikTok when I came across a video of someone talking about dyslexia. For the first time, it felt like I wasn't alone. I wasn't crazy, that there was other people out there who were living normal lives who had the same struggles as me. At the time, I was working, or mostly attempting to work on, many entrepreneur businesses. Any artsy hobby you can think of, I definitely tried it and tried to profit off of it. But nothing was working out. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I put into editing a TikTok video, it never came out to anything. If I couldn't profit off of the only things that I was good at, and I couldn't read or write, so I couldn't go to college, then what could I do? So I kind of went to probably my darkest time in life. In the midst of all the struggles, I lost my best friends. I've grown up in a large family, so I've lost a lot of people, but this seemed different. I was so sick of feeling hopeless and trying to find my worth for dumb teenage boys that I began crying out to God like never before. And for the first time, I was listening to my Bible. I was actively trying to make space for God, not taking Him for granted anymore. I basically put everything that I was working on hold. I stopped posting on Instagram. Any business I was trying to get going, I stopped working on that. And my main focus was just trying to get through my sophomore year and trying to do it with God.
And suddenly, the world wasn't so dark anymore.
There was joy in the midst of being hooked up to IV and not being able to read. But most of all, there was hope, something that I long given up on. So it was sometime during the beginning of my first semester during the year when I walked up to my mom and I pronounced, almost declared, that I was going to write a book. And she looked at me and said, "I believe you." I had no idea the weight of those words, my own and my mom's, would mean for the next year of my life, but somehow I managed to finish an entire first draft of a book completely through voice recordings.
I began posting on TikTok, and that's where I heard countless testimonies of dyslexia.
It became more and more apparent that this book wasn't just a passion of mine anymore, but it was what God wanted me to do, and is what so many people like me desperately need.
Project Right-Sided is a place where I'm able to not only tell my story of dyslexia, but everybody who is silent from telling theirs. Through a whimsical literary fiction book, of course, because I think we have enough traumatizing memories from textbooks. But most of all, it is a story about healing for God, which I am still waiting for. And I think that's why this book is so important to me, because I just don't want to say I trust God, but I want to live like I am, and let my story be a testimony for God. One of my favorite quotes is from the book The Hiding Place. They'll believe because you've been there. And oh boy, I've been there for a long time. So follow along, because I am publishing that book.